Tulsi Gabbard is a former Hawaii Congresswoman and former presidential candidate. So do you agree with my assessment of where we are as a country right now?
I do. And the examples that you gave, Jesse, very clearly illustrate why these numbers are so low, why the American people have lost trust and confidence in these public institutions that literally exist to serve the well-being of the people. Instead, you have people in positions of power, the permanent Washington establishment, who are essentially weaponizing these institutions for their own personal or political gain. You gave many great examples. You see how taking some of these institutions, whether the Department of Justice or the IRS or others, using them to target political opponents. They're lying to us to protect their power. We, again, see this Ministry of Truth in whatever version or name it has taken on now, seeking to censor our free speech and control what kind of information that we see and that we hear. It is no surprise at all that people are frustrated, that these people in power, it's not that they can't deliver for the American people. It's not that Congress is incapable of doing its job. It's that they are choosing not to. And that's the critical thing here, is that people who hold these strings of power, these levers of power in our country, are choosing to put themselves or their political ambitions ahead of actually working for the well-being and interests of the American people. And that's where our opportunity comes in to get rid of them, to fire them, to actually bring leaders into these positions who are committed, truly committed to supporting and defending the Constitution, truly committed to putting the American people and our well-being first.
And that's why it's so critical to have a media that has aggressive instincts. No one was ever held accountable for the Afghanistan situation. It was like 20 years there. We didn't win. We wasted billions of dollars. I don't know how much money. And then we pull out. It's an absolute catastrophe. Did anybody get fired for that? I mean, we had a special counsel under Bush. That was a joke. We had another special counsel under Trump. Another joke. No banker went to jail for the mortgage-backed security fraud that crashed the economy. There's always going to be corruption, Tulsi, but if you can't take the corruption out of the system and cleanse it from the system, then it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing until it's too big to fail.
Exactly, and you hit it right on the head. You know, in that poll, it showed that people's faith in the mainstream media has gone down as well, because it's very transparent about what they're seeing. They're not seeing that hard-hitting journalism, by and large, that is holding the powerful accountable, that is shining a light on those dark spaces that the powerful don't want to be exposed. That's the role of journalists. That's the role of the news. Instead, we see the mainstream media colluding with those in power. I have personal experience of this when I ran for president, to be able to hold their positions of power without any accountability or sense of responsibility, frankly, to the American people. So it's no wonder people are turning off their television and saying, yeah, you know what, I'm not going to put up with this crap anymore.
All right, well said. Tulsi Gabbard, thanks as always for joining Jesse Watters Primetime.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.